Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the September 22nd edition of Carolina Week,
we'll look back on a tragedy that rocked the campus community and steps to make sure it never happens again.
A major political figure visits campus just weeks before the midterm elections.
In sports, we'll tell you what to expect when the football team travels to Rutgers this weekend and how the men's soccer team pulled out a great escape.
Weathercaster Joe Belanger will tell us what to expect during the first official week of fall.
All that, and we'll introduce you to one woman who's bringing a little bit of Paris to Chapel Hill.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
A tragedy almost 15 years ago still has a major impact on campus today. Good evening, I'm Andrea Lutka.
And I'm Claudia Rubsich. Thanks for joining us. We lost 5 members of our student body in a 1996 fraternity house fire, and that has students and others working tirelessly to prevent anything like it from happening again. September is Campus Fire Safety Month at UNC. It's designed to help raise awareness in the community, but it also brings back some painful memories. Reporter AJ Keener has more on the story.
Bonnie Woodruff has become a local and national advocate for fire safety, and the painting you see above Bonnie is of her son Ben, who died in the 1996 Phi Gamma Delta fire. Since then, Bonnie has used advocacy to help her cope.
Because every time I told my story, every time I would talk about Ben and tell the story of what happened that day, it somehow smoothed those edges out a little bit.
Thanks to people like Bonnie and Fire Marshal Matt Lawrence, the month of September is now Campus Fire Safety Awareness Month.
What we're trying to do is just make sure that that the students who are living in these off-campus housing locations have the working smoke alarms, which are is the biggest piece that can provide them the adequate amount of safety that they need.
Lawrence's firefighters inspected many on- and off-campus housing alarms last week.
This house you see behind me is an exact replica of the 1996 Phi Gamma Delta house, which was burnt to the ground. But while the old house was not fire safe, the new house meets all the proper regulations.
Phi Gamma Delta House Fire Marshal Hill Winstead says the brothers still have memories of the 1996 fire, and these memories are what pushed their involvement this month.
Through advocacy of the parents, particularly Bonnie Woodruff, whose son Ben died in the fire, and others, Phi Gamma, as well as the Greek community as a whole here at UNC, has been very active in trying to prevent something like this from ever happening again.
It's acts like Campus Fire Safety Month which help not only the community, but Bonnie as well.
And I think part of it was just getting out there and trying to save other people's lives. It helped me.
In Chapel Hill, I'm AJ Keener, Carolina Week.
To learn more about fire safety and to find out how you can get involved, attend tomorrow's Fire Safety Fair in Polk Place.
If you were walking around campus Tuesday, you may have heard a strange noise.
This is an Alert Carolina test.
Loud sirens rang across campus Tuesday as the university carried out scheduled tests for UNC's Alert Carolina Safety Awareness Campaign. More than 46,000 registered cell phone users received text messages as a part of Tuesday's tests. This ensures that during emergencies, all students, faculty, and staff are informed about what's happening. UNC's Department of Public Safety tests its sirens several times a year and declared Tuesday's test a success. Students are excited about the kickoff for UNC's chapter of the NAACP. The president of the North Carolina NAACP, William J. Barber, said during Tuesday's event that he wants students to continue promoting social change on campus and in the community. Several community leaders also spoke at the rally, highlighting important issues like worker rights on campus. And a cappella group Unheard Voices closed the rally with a Native American unity song. Members of UNC's chapter will travel to Washington, D.C. in October for the One Nation March on Washington.
With the midterm elections just a little more than a month away, you can expect to see some political heavy hitters on campus. That includes former Bush administration political advisor Karl Rove. He came to campus Monday at the invitation of the college Republicans. He signed copies of his book, Courage and Consequence. Rove then spoke to a passionate crowd of more than 1,000 people inside Memorial Hall. He called for a change of leadership in Washington and criticized the current administration about the healthcare legislation and the increasing deficit. Election day is November 4th. The big race in our area involved incumbent Democrats in the House of Representatives. David Price has represented the district for 23 years. His challenger is B.J. Lawson. Real Clear Politics rates this race a likely Democratic Party victory. Bob Etheridge has been in Congress since 1996 representing District 2. He's running against virtually unknown Renee Elmers. Real Clear Politics has this race in the leans Democrat category. They're in our hotels, in our homes, and now bedbugs are infesting college campuses. Officials evacuated students from their dorm rooms in Catawba College and Wake Forest University during the past week because of blood-eating bedbugs. But scientists at NC State University aren't running from the bugs. They're busy studying the critters. Dr. Warren Booth wants to find out how the bugs move from one place to another and if they're becoming resistant to the insecticides designed to kill them. He and others are worried the problem is getting worse.
Franklin Street has a wide variety of retail shops and restaurants, but for now, it's still not getting a public library. The Orange County Board of Commissioners nixed a proposal Tuesday to put a new library branch on West Franklin Street. The library would have been part of the Skills Development Center, but town officials agree the space is just too small and has limited parking. Chapel Hill's own public library is located off of Estes Drive, but the town has no library supported by the county. Chapel Hill and Orange County officials are currently discussing a possible merger of the two closely linked library systems.
Students and faculty at Harrisburg University of Science and Technology recently went through the ultimate social media experiment, a blackout. For 1 week, social media sites like Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter were blocked on the Harrisburg University network. When they weren't able to access the sites, students and faculty could think about the extent to which social media sites are central in their lives. Do you think you could handle a week without social media?
Harrisburg University might be temporarily shutting down access to all social media, but at schools like UNC, social media is alive and well for both students and faculty. Dean of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, Jean Folkerts, is scheduled to brief UNC's Board of Trustees at a meeting in November about the merits of using social media websites. She joins us now from our satellite studio. Dean Folkerts, thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Dean Folkerts, why do you think social media and college campuses seem to go so well together?
Well, young people love to be in contact with each other, and social media is a great community builder and dialogue builder.
Well, we all know that the most important thing for students is getting a job after graduation. But when negative things get on the web, it's hard to take them off and employers can find them. What do you think about the negative consequences for using social media?
Well, I think it's important for students to understand the sort of ubiquity of social media. It's always out there, and if you have been on MySpace when you were 13 years old, you want to go back probably and clean out all of that material that you can find. If you keep it tracked and you take things down, I think you'll be fine. Also, I think employers do look for what you present on social media. So presenting yourself always as a young potential professional is important. Do not put pictures of yourself on your Facebook page of the last party that you were at or dancing after midnight. Those kinds of things are the kinds of things I think that do come back to haunt you.
Right. Students have to make sure to take those down. As I understand it, you actually have a Twitter account yourself. So what
Absolutely.
do you think? Right. So what do you think Facebook and Twitter can offer to faculty that they don't already have?
Well, a couple of things. Twitter really enables faculty to build themselves as an expert. And if you look at Joe Bob Hester, for example, in advertising, he has 6,000 followers. He is building a reputation as a person in advertising who follows social media and who is an expert on it.
What do you plan to tell the Board of Trustees about the benefits of social media?
Well, what we're going to talk about is the kind of communication that students have with faculty members, with each other, the kinds of communication that we have with alumni that we were unable to achieve before. It's all about interactivity. It's all about a conversation. It's about getting people involved in a conversation. So it's not one-way communication anymore.
Right. That's Dean Jean Folkerts live in our satellite studio. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
And coming up, Congress has decided not to discuss Don't Ask, Don't Tell for now.
We'll tell you how that affects one local ROTC cadet.
bathtub. There's one on the couch. There's a monster on my bed.
Keep innocent things from triggering an asthma attack.
Please make the monsters go away.
Learn how to stop their asthma attacks at noattacks.org.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a
One
dad
more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Carolina students have rich history of political activism, and reporter Jennifer Kessinger tells us one young woman is fighting for a change in a law that affects her directly.
For senior Sarah Isaacson to achieve her goals, it will literally take an act of Congress. She dreams of someday serving in the Army as an openly gay woman. Last year, ROTC officials removed Isaacson from the program after she came out as a lesbian to her commander. And now she not only can't participate in training like this, she owes the Army a staggering $80,000 to repay the scholarship she received. So she's turned her struggle into a crusade for the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the policy that prohibits openly gay individuals from serving in the military. During the weekend, Isaacson made her third trip to Washington, D.C. to meet with lawmakers. She says lobbying has helped her stay positive in the face of adversity.
This political work and doing lobbying is really empowering for me, and it lets me feel like I'm doing something to help all those who are serving in silence.
And she remains hopeful that her efforts will eventually pay off and that she gets to serve in the military.
And it's something that I still want to do. It's a passion I still have. It's a passion that I've had for 8 or 9 years, and that's not something that was able to go away when I came to terms with my sexuality or when I came out to my commander.
But she might have to wait longer than she'd hoped. Yesterday, Democrats in the Senate failed to garner the 60 votes needed to advance the legislation. But despite the setback, Sarah Isaacson says that she will continue to fight for the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jennifer Kessinger, Carolina Week.
And it's unlikely that Congress will do anything related to the policy until after the midterm elections.
Well, if you're one of those people who never have the change to feed the meter, then you're in luck. Motorists on Franklin Street are noticing bags over some of the parking meters. New multi-meter pay stations have replaced them, and they accept dollar bills, coins, and even credit cards. The process is fairly simple. You just select which spot you're in, enter in how much time you want, and select a method of payment. The parking department is running a 3-month trial to see how people respond. Each meter is used for about 10 spots and costs between $8,000 and $10,000.
And if you're not in the mood to pay the meters at all, today is your chance to do yourself and the community a favor. Today is Car-Free Day in Chapel Hill, and town leaders are urging residents to leave their gas guzzlers at home and find another way to get around. Whether you're riding your bike, walking, or riding public transportation, community leaders want you to think outside of the driver's seat. The Car-Free Wednesday campaign hopes to inform people of the steps they can take to help the environment and to help reduce traffic in Chapel Hill. And I know you might be tempted to not take public transportation when it's really hot outside, but you know, it's a good cause.
Yeah, well, let's take it over to weathercaster Joe Belanger. Joe, I'm hoping for hot this week. I know fall is near, but warm temperatures still?
Yeah, that's right, Andrea. Those warm temperatures are going to stick around. It's very summer-like out there, doing a lot of sweating on your way to class. Coming up after the break, though, we'll take a look just to see when we can expect some more fall-like temperatures on their way.
En el bosque las ratas guardas jugaban. Fósforos que no es muy bueno. Escucha Smokey antes de tratar.
Solo tú.
No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. Fuego. No hay nada para un pobre conejo asustado, a un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos forestales.
¡Fuego!
So, you're looking for help with your mortgage. Worried about foreclosure? We can help you keep your house. All we ask for in return is that you submit to our plans for galactic domination. Sign.
If you're facing foreclosure, talk to the right people. Speak with HUD-approved housing counselors free of charge at 888-995-HOPE.
Let's turn over this log. Yeah. Whoa! I like the big black ones. I like the brown wiggly ones.
I like the green crunchy ones myself.
Whoa.
Get out and explore nature. There's surprises everywhere. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Anyone up for dessert?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weather forecaster Joe Belanger. Another hot one out there today. We're looking at some record-breaking temperatures over the next couple days. There is some good news, though. There is a little relief in sight starting next week. We'll take a look at that in just a little bit. Today is the first day of fall. It officially starts this evening at about 11 p.m. Believe it or not, it does not feel like it at all. But it's a good chance to take a look back at this past summer we have had, and what a summer it has been. We have had more 90-degree plus days this summer than we have ever had before. The previous record was set back in 07, just a few summers ago. We had 83. Already, including today, this year, we have had 88, and that number looks to continue to climb. Tomorrow, we are looking at even the chance of breaking the record high temperature. It was set back in 1980 of 94 degrees. Tomorrow, we're looking at to get up to about 94. We may even see 95, so definitely a chance to either tie or even break that record that we're seeing. To put things into perspective, our average is at 79 degrees. We're about 15 degrees above that, so it just shows really how uncomfortable our weather has been around here this year. Current satellite image is showing a few clouds over the area. Nothing really to block out the sun, unfortunately. No real shade to give you any comfort out there. Surface map is showing we're going to get some southerly flow out of the Gulf. That's going to bring in a lot of moisture, keeping things humid and uncomfortable. Very summer-like. Nothing really new there. We're still watching the tropics right now. It is still hurricane season. We're watching Tropical Storm Lisa right off the coast of Africa. It's having a real hard time getting itself organized and put together. Not really that strong right now. Only 45 miles an hour winds, moving very slowly across the Atlantic. Nothing really to worry about there. We are watching this area of clouds in the Caribbean. There's about a 60% chance that that could form together to produce the next named storm, which would be Matthew. That could make its way into the Gulf course and Gulf Coast and pick up some strength. So we'll keep an eye on that as it gets closer. Back in the North Carolina area, this weekend would be a great chance to hit up the beach. We are seeing highs in the 80s all along the coast and a little warmer inland at Greenville at 91. Your last real chance to get to the beach looks to be this weekend, as we will start to cool down by next week. Tonight, we're going to stay mild, around 68 here in the Triangle region. Winds very light out of the south, like we were saying earlier. The winds out of the south continue tomorrow, high of 94, and that high temperatures continue right on through Saturday. You're going to notice the temperatures stay in 90s with sunny conditions. And then we start to take a turn for the better by early next week. Highs drop down to about 80, where they belong. We may even see some rain, which we haven't heard that word in a really long time around here. Yeah, it's been quite some time. So hang tough through these next couple of days. There is some relief.
Yeah, well, that's good to know. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. No problem.
A little worried about those record highs, but we'll keep it in check.
No problem.
Well, Chapel Hill cyclists can ride with pride after the town received a very prestigious honor. Chapel Hill is one of only 100 towns in the nation to be named on 2010's Bicycle-Friendly Communities by the League of American Bicyclists. The honor is reserved for communities that show excellence in areas like bicycle safety education and enforcement of bicycle road rules. Several North Carolina towns made the list, including Carrboro, Durham, and Cary. The goal of the program is to keep cyclists riding safely on the road. All right, well, sportscaster Justin Page joins us. Justin, you got some bad news for us?
Well, I hear we have some news on the football team.
Yeah, some good news, bad news, whichever way you want to look at it. But finally, we have an update regarding 2 of the 11 ineligible football players. We'll get to that after the break. But also coming up after the break, the men's soccer team is undefeated in the ACC and is climbing up in the national rankings.
It took me. Wait, it's okay.
How else will I get a better credit score?
Look, you keep your credit card balances low and only open a new card if you really need it.
No ferry?
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditferry.org.
Have you ever considered, I don't know, getting it waxed?
Waxed?
Yeah.
Bro, that's a little weird.
I don't know. Doesn't seem that weird to me.
Just keep shaving my back, okay? Oh, dude, can I get a bite?
What? With my spoon? This is disgusting.
Yes, ready. Go get it.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Hello and welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Justin Page. We have breaking news regarding the NCAA investigations into the football team. In just the past hour, the team announced that defensive backs Deontay Williams and Kendrick Burney will miss multiple games for receiving benefits from agents. Williams must sit out the next 2 games, while Burney must miss the next 4. Both players have already sat out the losses to LSU and Georgia Tech. Without those 2 players and several others, the UNC football team, meanwhile, will look for its first win of the season when it heads up to Rutgers on Saturday. Now, on Monday, we showed you the problems the NCAA investigations have caused for the defense and how that has shifted the strength of the team, surprisingly, to the offense. In their first 2 games, quarterback TJ Yates and company have looked nothing like last season's unit that struggled to maintain drives. And don't look now, but Yates has won the support of fans and put to rest any debate about whether or not he should remain the starter. Look at that throw. The 5th-year senior has racked up 621 yards and completed nearly 66% of his passes. And most importantly, he's thrown 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. The Heels also hope to build off last week's running game success against Georgia Tech. Johnny White rushed for a career-high 113 yards against the Jackets, and his speed will certainly help take the load off of Yates when Carolina faces a high-pressure Rutgers defense. Meanwhile, officials in the athletics department have more to worry about than just ineligible players. They also have to worry about money. And reporter Lindsey Hawkins says a need for $2.65 million could hurt the Heels on the courts and on the fields.
Senior tight end Zach Panato catches passes for the Tar Heels now, but if it hadn't been for a full scholarship to UNC, Panato would have been running on a different field.
I'd been at the University of Texas playing football there. So.
The Arkansas native was committed to play football at Texas, but when UNC gave him a scholarship, he decided to become a Tar Heel. It might be harder for UNC to entice out-of-state athletes like Panato in the future.
The North Carolina General Assembly is forcing the Rams Club, the booster club that funds all athletic scholarships, and all UNC system schools to pay out-of-state tuition for out-of-state athletes.
1/3 of the scholarship athletes working out in gyms across campus are from out of state. For the past 5 years, the Rams Club had to pay only in-state tuition, saving millions. UNC Athletics Director Dick Bador says this will be a challenge.
We're already struggling when it comes to resources across the board. Now, an advantage that we had was that scholarship provision. We don't have that anymore, so we're worried about it.
Bador says UNC is keeping all its commitments to current and incoming athletes, but in the future they may give fewer scholarships. Daily Tar Heel sports editor Jonathan Jones thinks the Rams Club will have to come through.
They're still going to go after top talent, and they're going to depend on the Booster Club to find the money.
This summer, the Rams Club started these $70 million renovations to Kenan Stadium. Renovations are expensive, but Bador says these improvements should help with fundraising. Bador isn't so sure where the money will come from in the short term. Back on the field, Panato hopes the university can come up with a solution for those who come after him. In Chapel Hill, I'm Lindsay Hawkins, Carolina Week Sports.
Rams Club officials are currently using reserves to make up for the deficit, and they aren't sure how they'll make up for those losses in the future. Members of the UNC men's soccer team are feeling pretty good about themselves after last night's thriller against Wofford. The Heels look to extend their 3-game winning streak Tuesday night against the Terriers. Now, Wofford has only won 1 game this season, but that didn't stop the Terriers. They were actually the first team to score. But with just 2 minutes left, now we'll keep your eye on the ball right here. Eddie Ababio right here gets the ball in traffic and fires the equalizer for the Carolina goal, and we're headed to overtime. Overtime was quiet early on, but after UNC drew a penalty, watch Kirk Urso right here. Right on the money with this shot. UNC comes back for the win, 2-1. The number 3 Tar Heels will also kick off against number 5 Maryland in Chapel Hill this Saturday night at 7 p.m. The women's volleyball team looked to win its 6th straight match when the Heels traveled to Raleigh to take on NC State last night, and the ladies did just that in style, I might add, sweeping the pack 3-0. That's their 6th sweep of the season. The Heels improved to 10-4 overall. And just a couple more notes on the updates about the football players. Athletics Director Dick Bador says the team will appeal the suspensions. He believes they're too harsh. So good news, the players will be back. Unfortunately, it'll just be a few more weeks. So
yeah, you know what? It could be worse.
No, it absolutely could, and we'll keep you updated if the situation changes at all.
Well, let's hope for the best. Thanks, Justin. They're more than thin pancakes. They're called crepes.
And Alexandra Press shows us one restaurant owner who's serving up a fresh taste of France right here in Chapel Hill.
At 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
They're more than thin pancakes. They're called crepes.
And Alexandra Press shows us one restaurant owner who's serving up a fresh taste of France.
To live without 2 essentials in life.
We have a word in French which is commensal. It's from Latin. Co, it means together, and mens is to eat. And eating together is what we don't do anymore.
Her love of food began in Paris, where King worked in the Louvre Museum. Her field of expertise was the Italian Renaissance, and that directly influenced King's food philosophy.
The concept I discovered was based on a good life with simple things.
A very special tourist at the Louvre brought her to North Carolina.
Basically, this is where I met my husband. He was not my husband then.
And in North Carolina, King's traditional and simple French food is a primary passion, one that requires little concentration, allowing King to go with the flow.
I hate thinking, actually, when I cook. I don't want people to talk to me. About you, it's okay. Actually, my answer, I don't think. And that's maybe why I like it.
But she does think about how her food brings people together. Friends and family enjoying 2 of life's essentials, food and fellowship. In Chapel Hill, I'm Alexandra Press, Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching.
Have a good night.